FDR was born on January 30, 1882, in Hyde Park, New York. He was born into a wealthy and politically influential family, and he received a privileged education. He attended private schools and went on to study at Harvard College, where he earned a degree in history. He graduated from Harvard College in 1903. After graduation, FDR worked briefly in the private sector before entering politics. He was initially a Democrat, but he later became a member of the Progressive Party. Married his distant cousin, Eleanor Roosevelt, in 1905. FDR and Eleanor had a complex relationship, but they remained married until FDR's death. Eleanor was a strong advocate for social justice and human rights, and she played a prominent role in FDR's administration. FDR became a practicing attorney in New York City in 1907. Roosevelt was not particularly successful as a lawyer, and he eventually turned to politics as a full-time career. FDR was elected to the New York State Senate, in 1910, as a Democrat, and he quickly established a reputation as a reform-minded politician. FDR was appointed as Assistant Secretary of the Navy by President Woodrow Wilson in 1913, and he played a key role in preparing the Navy for World War I. He contracted polio in 1921, at the age of 39, and the disease left him paralyzed from the waist down. Despite his physical limitations, FDR remained active in politics and continued to seek public office. FDR was elected governor of New York in 1928, and he quickly established a reputation as a progressive and effective leader. He implemented a series of reforms and programs aimed at helping the state recover from the Great Depression. FDR was elected President of the United States in 1932, and he took office at a time when the country was facing the Great Depression. He launched the New Deal, a series of reforms and programs aimed at helping the country recover from the economic crisis. The New Deal included programs such as the Civilian Conservation Corps, the National Recovery Administration, and the Federal Emergency Relief Administration, which provided work and assistance to millions of Americans. He established the Civilian Conservation Corps in 1933. The Civilian Conservation Corps was a program that put unemployed young men to work on public lands, where they performed tasks such as planting trees, building trails, and fighting forest fires. FDR created the National Recovery Administration in 1933. The National Recovery Administration was a program that aimed to help businesses recover from the Great Depression by establishing codes of fair competition and price stabilization. Roosevelt declared a national banking holiday in 1933 in order to stabilize the financial system and restore confidence in the banking system. He established the Federal Emergency Relief Administration in 1933. The Federal Emergency Relief Administration was a program that provided direct relief to unemployed and destitute Americans. FDR established the Securities and Exchange Commission in 1934. The Securities and Exchange Commission was established to regulate the stock market and protect investors from fraud and abuse. He created the Works Progress Administration in 1935. The Works Progress Administration was a program that provided work and assistance to millions of unemployed Americans. It funded the construction of public buildings, roads, and infrastructure. Roosevelt appointed Supreme Court justices who supported the New Deal policies. FDR was concerned that the Supreme Court might strike down some of his New Deal programs, so he attempted to appoint justices who would support his policies. This effort was known as the Court Packing Plan, and it was controversial at the time, but FDR ultimately succeeded in appointing several justices who supported the New Deal. FDR played a key role in leading the United States through World War II, working closely with allies such as Great Britain and the Soviet Union. He implemented a series of measures aimed at increasing war production, and he worked to mobilize the American people for the war effort. FDR's Four Freedoms speech was delivered to Congress in 1941, and it articulated the goals of the United States for the war and for the post-war world. The four freedoms were freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. FDR died on April 12, 1945, while in office, at the age of 63, just a few months into his fourth term. His death was a shock to the American people, and it marked the end of an era in American history. FDR was widely regarded as one of the greatest presidents of the 20th century, and his legacy continues to influence American politics and society to this day.